So you're thinking of making a move to Santa Ana in beautiful, sunny Orange County, California. Well, in this video, we're going to go over the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly of living, working, playing, owning a home in Santa Ana, California.
So let's get to it.
Hi, if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. If you want to know everything there is about living, working, playing, owning a home in Irvine, California and surrounding communities, today we're talking about Santa Ana, then do us a favor, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notification, so you'll be the first to know when we upload videos like this one and also in a lot of other communities. And do us a favor, like our videos. And don't forget to check out our other videos. We have Huntington Beach, we have Irvine, we have beautiful golf course community of Shady Canyon. You definitely don't want to miss seeing $10, $15 million homes. We have Hidden Canyon, we have Great Park, we have Coachella Springs. We have a lot of videos. We're going to have a lot more. So again, hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notification. Hi, my name is Bruce Clark, and this is my beautiful wife, Veronica. We've been real estate agents for over 17 years. We absolutely love it. We get phone calls, emails, text messages from people all the time. They're looking to make a move. So whether you're looking to make a move in the next 5 days, 50 days, or even further out, send us a text message, shoot us an email, give us a phone call. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to
Irvine, California
and surrounding communities. So as I said, we're going to get into the pros and cons of Santa Ana. So number one pro, it's the history. Founded in the late 1800s, Santa Ana has a rich architecture and it's reflected in the food. And Veronica's going to go over the food. It's reflected in architecture. You have a lot of Spanish influence. It was founded in the late 1800s, and it is the second largest city in Orange County, over 330,000 people. It's the fourth most dense city in America. And we're going to touch on a lot of things, traffic and other things, but the history, especially as you get downtown, you've got 4th Street, which is downtown Santa Ana. It's a very rich history. You have architecture from some of the most famous architects in this area. And it's great to walk around and see older buildings. We don't have that in, for example, Irvine and Newport Beach, certainly not Newport Coast, Crystal Cove, those areas, Shady Canyon. You don't have the older architectures. Couple buildings over in Irvine, but 99% of it is fairly new or newer, whereas in Santa Ana, you have a rich culture. Let's talk about food.
Food. So there are so many choices when it comes to food in Santa Ana, and interestingly enough, we were talking about the difference in the city and the restaurants, even just 15 years ago when I grew up in Santa Ana. And when I was growing up in Santa Ana, I remember going to places like Super Antojitos, which was just a little tiny mom and pop type restaurant where we would just hang out with friends, get food. They had a jukebox that had. I
have to translate a lot because I don't get all the names. I have to admit.
Super Antojitos.
There you go.
Okay, but you're okay. So great food though. I remember Avila's El Ranchito, mariachi music, and the taco stands, and just a lot of our favorite restaurants. Now moving forward, a couple decades later, you still have a lot of those great little mom and pop shops. I remember Pop's Cafe, amazing onion rings right next to Civic Center. Now there are just so many new restaurants. There are a lot of 5-star restaurants, especially in the downtown area. There are a lot of restaurants that are truly known for the amazing food, the chefs, and it's just quite an experience to go down there and to eat those foods. So I would definitely, that is a definite pro. I mean, you have so many choices. There's so many options. And speaking of choices, you have wonderful Mexican food. It's always hard when you grow up with a Mexican mom who is an amazing cook. It's tough. It's tough going or finding a restaurant where you can go and you say, oh my goodness, this food is just so amazing. But there are very good Mexican restaurants here in Santa Ana. But you also have Morton's Steakhouse. You have Daria's Persian food, which we love. We love Persian food. There's a lot of wonderful Thai restaurants, Chinese food.
Food trucks. Food trucks have great restaurants.
Great food trucks. Really there really are some amazing taqueros in Santa Ana. And So, I mean, the choices are pretty much endless. Our daughter, she loves everything Japanese, and there are some great Japanese restaurants. And I mean, our son loves Peter Schnitzel, but
Yeah.
pretty much anything that you can think of,
Yeah.
you know, food-wise, you will find.
And one of the neat things is 4th Street, which is a historic district here in Santa Ana, has a whole market, a marketplace. They're very cutting edge with their food. And one of them is, in fact, a culinary lab, and they teach people how to cook. But it's really neat. They've had some. They have a butcher there, and we have a family. There's a relative of ours who owns a restaurant there, and called Mar. And you want to come and take a look. And we'll talk about the sense of community, because it definitely plays into the food, and it plays into all of what I believe makes Santa Ana unique. Weather, you're in Orange County, so you're talking an average temperature of around 75 degrees, low humidity. There's not that many bugs. So we do a lot of things outside. I mean, a lot, you know, with the beach and hiking and all the sports. We just had an event at Irvine Regional Park where church came together, and you see people from all over, whether Irvine or Santa Ana, or and it's really neat because, again, the sense of community and the sharing. Veronica's going to go into that further, but it's absolutely fantastic. Again, it's not something you get in all the cities. It's not something that you're going to find, for example, in a lot of communities in Irvine.
You're getting into my pro, though.
Yeah, I am.
That's my pro.
So,
but that's a good point, the community. And that is something, growing up in the city, there is a wonderful sense of community that, you know, as my husband was saying, Bruce, you don't see necessarily in everywhere. But we, growing up here, we had neighbors that we've known for over 20 years. And whenever someone is sick, you see people will bring over food. People will check in. My parents are elderly, and they still live in Santa Ana. And there's always someone coming by, just checking in, just, you know, on them to see how they're doing. And they have help, you know, that comes in also. But it's just wonderful that you could really tell that their neighbors just truly love them. And we have a teacher or a former teacher that lives across the street that comes over and checks on them. There's neighbors that have been next door for 20 years. Or again, just, you know, the kids in the neighborhood. My parents are, you know, like grandparents, and family that comes, and so and that's just the culture. It's part of the culture, you know, the Hispanic culture, and it's a wonderful thing. It really truly is. And you see children playing on the sidewalk everywhere. I mean, children are running around and they're playing and they're having fun. And interestingly enough, some of the neighborhoods, you know, that we see at times, it's odd because there's no one outside, and they have these beautiful parks and they have these wonderful areas and so many things to do, but you don't see, you know, everyone playing together. So Santa Ana is definitely something where, you know, strong sense of community and just friendship, and it's just that's definitely a pro, and just something that I've always loved.
and that's something that Veronica and I have been married for more than 12 years, but it was something unique. I come from the Midwest, and so when you walk down the street and, you know, ask, hi, how you doing, you actually mean it. And so it's different than we see in some other communities here in Orange County. The community feel very strong. Location, since you're in Orange County, you're not that far from the beaches. I would say you're 30 minutes or less to Newport Beach, or 30 minutes Huntington Beach, 45 minutes, maybe an hour with traffic to Laguna Beach. You can be at John Wayne Airport in 15 minutes. That's in Costa Mesa. The Santa Ana borders Costa Mesa. You're not that far from a lot of shopping. You've got the Main Street Mall. You've got Bristol Marketplace. You've got 17th Center on 17th Street. So watch our map video. We go over a lot of the shopping. You've got Fashion Island, which has just crazy amount of shopping. You're not that far from South Coast Plaza, which is in Costa Mesa. Fashion Island, is in Newport Beach. The Irvine Spectrum, you're 45 minutes tops to Irvine Spectrum, so you're talking probably 10 million plus square feet of shopping, and you've got high-end, you've got Harry Winston Jewelers, you've got Chopard, you've got Chanel, you've also got Target, you've got Walmart, you've got
Gotta love Target.
You do. You've got an Albertsons, you have a Ralph's, and you have Superior. So you have more regional foods. So just a lot of things here that you're not going to find elsewhere. But again, the community, the architecture, certainly a lot different than you'll find in Irvine or Newport Beach. So Santa Ana has a ton of things to do. Veronica's going to go over some of them. There's some things that I like doing. With the female and male, little different things that we want to do. So please go ahead.
Okay. So there's so many things to do in Santa Ana. You have the Bowers Museum, and then you have the Bowers Children's Museum. So there are a lot of exhibits and I'll let you touch on those at the Bowers Museum.
Yeah, we've seen some Egyptian. They've come around with some Egyptian exhibits. We've seen a lot of great art. There's a lot of things at Bowers. In fact, we're going to have a link, so check the bio. We'll have links to a lot of the local, not just local food, but also local museums and things to do.
Then you have the Discovery Cube. We have the Discovery Cube, and that is a lot of fun. Our children are a little bit older now. Our daughter's 15. Our son is 11. But we enjoyed a lot of great family time at that center. And there's so many amazing things to do. They have all these exhibits where they're really
stuff.
Yes. They're very hands-on, and the kids just love that. I remember the rock climbing wall, yes. And then they have the dinosaur exhibit outside, and they have the Bubble Fest that they do. So it's seasonal. They have every season. They have, something different, something special going on. But our kids absolutely loved it. Oh, Christmas, they had the gingerbread display that they had and the contest.
Couldn't eat them.
But no, you can't eat them. But there was just there's so many things to do, and it's a great just learning opportunity for them, yeah. And they have a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun for them.
It's
and then we also we also have there's the Santa Ana Zoo and Prentice Park, and again, not the Santa Ana Zoo that we grew up with. There were not that many animals, and they have really they've invested a lot of money into the zoo. They put a lot of money into it, and it's a really fun place now. They have a lot of different exhibits there, and they have monkeys. The Irvine Zoo does not have monkeys. The kids do kind of love that, but they have there are a lot of things to do as well, and a lot of different exhibits to visit there.
So in addition to that, you've got things not that far away would be Laguna Beach. You have a lot of art galleries, art museum. You've got the Playhouse there. You're not that far again from Newport Beach. Not that far from Costa Mesa with the Segerstrom Performing Arts Center. And one of the homes in the map video, we go over Segerstrom home that's being sold.
I did want to touch though. There's a lot of things to do here in Santa Ana. Also, there's the Artist Village here in Santa Ana, which is growing, and
very much so. Yeah.
So that's in the downtown area. There's also, we talked about the historic 4th Street, and there are a lot of different things to do there as well. And then we didn't really touch on one of the things I love about this area, which is Orange County in general, is you are close to just about anything that you want to do. If you like to hike, there are so many amazing trails in this area. We like to hike a lot, and we were doing a lot more of it before. We've just been busy, but it's definitely something that is very nearby. There are a lot of trails you can have within 10 minutes. You could be at a trail, or you can drive farther, and you can drive out an hour. Or if you want to go to the snow, if you want it, we've done that. We've taken day trips to San Diego or Torrey Pines, and the beaches.
They're about an hour and 20 minutes from the desert. So.
But and yes, I mean there pretty much anything that just comes to mind that you'd like to do as far as activities. I mean, you can go boating, sailing. I mean, there are just so many different things, and everything is pretty close. It truly is.
Yeah, it is. And so from a real estate side, Santa Ana is less pricey than other Orange County communities, and we're going to go over a few reasons why. But we believe it's a great place to invest. You have older homes with larger lots. It's not unusual to have a lot of 10 to 14,000 square feet. So the homes tend to be older. Floral Park, the homes between 1920s to 1950s.
Beautiful.
So beautiful, stately homes, absolutely fantastic architecture. Again, totally different than you'd find over in some other cities here in Orange County. But What we believe is that with all the redevelopment going on here in Santa Ana, that more people are going to be moving here that are looking to upgrade a home or to buy new homes. So the new homes, for example, that they have at Lacey's Crossing, which is from KB Homes, now the home's over $1 million. In the past in Santa Ana, the only place you'd have $1 million plus homes would be North Tustin or Floral Park. Other than that, maybe a historic home or two would come up for market that would sell. But for the most part, it was a lot less. You have smaller homes. You could have a 12 to 1,500 square foot home on a 12,000 square foot lot. We don't have those over in Irvine. A 15,000 square foot lot takes you into one or two homes in Hidden Canyon, which are selling for 8 to 9 million. You're 6 to 50 million in Shady Canyon. Hidden Canyon doesn't have anything that I'm aware of. That Orchard Hills doesn't have anything that I'm aware of that has a lot that big. So the value is not only can you have a home on that lot here in Santa Ana, but they're incentivizing people to build what's called an accessory dwelling unit. So you could have income property. You could even, there's ways to maximize the income from a home, more so here and maximize the value of the lot than you would have in some other communities. The other communities are building bigger homes because the size of the land and building bigger homes. You don't have a lot left to build an ADU or accessory dwelling unit, a granny flat, some people call it. So from a real estate side, again, I firmly believe the Santa Ana is going to blow up in the next couple decades as redevelopment. So it might not be today, but if you're looking for a longer term investment, I think it's a great place to buy.
I agree. It's definitely coming. Okay, so let's start with the cons. So con number one, the schools. If you look at the schools are rated at the lower half of the spectrum compared to, if you compare them to, say, we've been featuring a lot of cities in Irvine. Mm-hmm. Irvine schools are very highly rated. They're 9s and 10s. Yeah. That's a state ranking. And if you look at Huntington Beach and some other neighboring cities, so the rankings here of the schools, like I said, are the lower half of the spectrum. They do have some great charter schools in this area. There are a lot of there's some wonderful private schools in this area.
And performing arts schools.
So there's Orange County Performing Arts School, but there are other private schools that are also very highly rated. And there, like I said, the charter schools, there are a lot of charter schools, and you can actually, if your child is attending a charter school, you can actually get funding for that. There's a lot of options. In Orange
Modern
County,
Day, there's Servite, which are
those are the privates,
right.
schools. But also there's the homeschooling. There are a lot of opportunities for, when we say homeschool, most people think your children are stuck at home and they're all alone and they're not socializing. But homeschooling has changed. That is the homeschooling of yesterday. That is not the homeschooling of today. Nowadays, there are a lot of pods. They have actual schools that are under a homeschool umbrella, but your children, they're actual hybrid programs where they can actually attend some days, and then some days, they're at home.
We homeschool.
So yes, we do that at one of these centers. But the possibilities in Orange County, are endless. There's so many options in this county, and we're just very, very blessed to have that. And I must say, I grew up in Santa Ana, and there are some wonderful teachers. I remember my third grade teacher still. Her name was Mrs. Eaton, or is Mrs. Eaton. Wonderful teacher. I remember a lot of my teachers, and I remember they were wonderful, the support. So the ratings, that's what we're touching on. Yeah. But honestly, there are a lot of different opportunities, there are a lot of different choices that you have, and it's up to you, as a family, and what suits you best. And again, as we were discussing, though, we do see some changes coming
as more money comes in. So you have homes that are now new homes selling for over $1 million. You have one home on the market right now in Floral Park, right? Probably we'll get over $3 million for that home. So as homes sell, and certainly as homes are priced higher, that increases the tax revenue through the property taxes, which are going to be put back into schools. And there's no mystery here. The higher your revenue base is, the more you can put into schools. You can have a better STEM, so a better science and technology. We see that over in Irvine, and we saw that certainly in Tustin with Beckman High School. Once Orchard Hills opened and the higher priced homes, more money came in. So they started putting more money into the building and into the classrooms, into the equipment. And that's what's going to happen here. I firmly believe that. So again, we're going to see a sea change here in the next couple decades. Again, there's a lot of schooling options, but if you're looking for a 9 or 10 out of 10, you're in Huntington Beach, you're in Irvine, you're in Newport Beach. However, again, there are a lot of different options. One of the things that we're seeing increased traffic. Certainly, it's fourth largest or the fourth most dense city in America. That's not going to change anytime soon. You're seeing more developments. You're seeing they're with the incentivization of the accessory dwelling units. That means another person, 2, 3 are going to be coming onto that property. So in the past, you would say, let's say, a home, you would say 3 people on average are going to live there. Now we could theoretically say 6. So it would almost be double. So it's going to be interesting. But as you're traveling at night, if you're looking at the 55, you're looking at traveling some of the major streets, whether it's Main Street or 1st or 4th or 17th Street here in Santa Ana. As you're hopping on the 5, traffic is increased. It's not always the easiest place to get around. However, it's not LA or Los Angeles or New York by any means. You figure ways around. It's really not a big deal. Oh, something we haven't talked about is the train. You can take the train from here to Santa Ana, from here to San Diego. You can take it to LA. Sorry, Santa Ana. We've taken it to San Clemente, and there's a neat little petting zoo there, and that's why we got
San Juan Capistrano.
San Juan Capistrano, and we got guinea pigs because of the fact we can pick them up, and they're not friendly. You would think they're friendly.
Zoomers. That was the name.
Zoomers.
But the cutest thing though is that they have that little area of San Juan Capistrano. They have the historic area.
Yeah.
So the train station literally drops you off right in front of. I mean, you just cross the tracks and you walk a little ways, and you're right at the zoo, and which is a petting zoo, and they have pony rides, and they have
llama.
All these little games and things that you can remember. You were digging for gold, and just a lot of fun activities.
Never found gold.
But then we were able to walk downtown or down to the San Juan Capistrano Historic District, and we had a lovely meal. The Mission was there. Yes, it's within walking distance, and they had these adorable little shops. They had so many cute little shops, and little shopping, little dining, little more shopping.
Some ice cream.
And we made a whole day of it. Cream. And then came back, and we actually, I don't know if you remember, we actually drove past because we live in Tustin Ranch, so we actually drove past a little bit farther north so that we could have a longer train ride. So you could drive down to Anaheim. I believe you could drive down farther, and that way you have a little bit of a longer ride for the kids. So the kids really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And again, talking about architecture, beautiful train station.
Yes. Beautiful train station here in Santa Ana. So it was really neat. And there, the history, there's just so many things to see and do. So traffic-wise, it's just like, it's not something I would call a quote-unquote deal killer. I've not had anybody say, hey, I don't want to buy here because of the traffic. It's just not a big deal. But again, with the additional construction, you're going to have construction traffic, you're going to have some noise, you're going to have some dust. But it's really not that big a deal. Some people would consider it a con.
It'll be beautiful when it's done, though. When it's finally done.
That it will.
Good things come to those who wait.
It will.
We're waiting and waiting.
So let's talk about the last thing, and let's talk about crime. So we've talked about Huntington Beach, and we've talked about Irvine. Irvine's considered one of the safest cities in the United States. Santa Ana, due to its density, has a little higher crime statistically. If there are some places in the evenings that we would recommend you don't go to, but I think there's, most cities are like that. But the crime is higher. There's more homeless here than we would find in some other certainly cities in Orange and Irvine, Newport Beach. but you find them in beach communities. We addressed that in our video, the pros and cons of Huntington Beach. You do have some homeless there, and you do have homeless in Santa Ana. They're putting a lot of money towards rectifying that. They're building affordable housing, low-income housing. They're building places to, for the homeless. But it has been something that in the past, I would think that probably caused some people to second guess they're possibly buying here.
I will say though,
but it's changing.
But my mother, the homeless in her area, the homeless people in her area, they're friends with my mom. They'll literally be walking by and they'll say, "Hi, Doña Irene," and my mom will. And so
they're not violent.
And again, want to help and they're trying to get housing and that, but it's community again. It comes back to that sense of community. And honestly, I mean, my mother, people walk by and they know her and they say hello to her. She says hello, and there's pockets. I do want to say that growing up in Santa Ana, there are pockets. And I think a lot of cities, if you've only ever lived in a place like Irvine, I think Irvine is more the exception than the rule.
I think so too.
I don't believe it's the rule.
I call it the kind of the platinum triangle. You have Irvine, Newport Beach, Newport Coast. The roads are perfect, and there's low crime, and
there's low violent crime.
Low violent
the statistics that you hear, it's violent crime. But again, just the pockets, and I think a lot of areas. So growing up, my neighborhood, I always felt safe. I'd walk everywhere. I'd go wherever, because I knew my neighbors, and there was that sense of community. And I knew, little fun story, when our son was really little, he was, I don't know, 4, 3. Oh gosh, I hope he was older than 3. But my parents were watching him, and my parents are elderly. And our son decided to run after a garbage truck.
He was a runner. Boy loved running everywhere.
So
running in church.
He starts chasing after the garbage truck. And my mother and father obviously could not keep up with our son. And the neighbors heard my mother screaming, and the neighbors came out and they chased down our son and they grabbed a hold of him.
He was pretty fast.
And he was very fast. And we had the child safety gate to somehow, our son, he was not only a runner, he was a climber, he was a little Houdini, and just, but anyways, point is, the neighbors caught up with him. They brought him back. And growing up, it was the same thing. I always knew that there was always someone, that would be there and that would be willing to help if I ever needed something. I mean, again, a sense of community.
Yeah. So in sum total, Santa Ana is not a perfect city. It has its pros and its cons. I think from an investment standpoint, I love the potential here. We're seeing it in the commercial. We're starting, again, the redevelopment. There's multi-billion-dollar projects planned. A lot of big money's coming in. Toll Brothers with the luxury living, the 218 apartments. As the revenue base increases, you're going to have a lot more people that want to move here because there'll be more fire and police hired. Schools are going to improve. But the sense of community is really unique. I love the architecture. I love the feel of Santa Ana. There are just so many things to see and do. And again, if you're looking for a home in Irvine, it's tough to find something. On a condo, 2-bedroom condo, you're going to be in around $700,000. You can come to Santa Ana. You can come to Santa Ana and buy something in the $400,000. You can buy a single-family home for $600,000 to $650,000. You can't buy that over in Irvine. Now you can buy something in maybe Orange or some other areas, but if you're looking to maximize your dollar, definitely, we recommend taking a look at Santa Ana. We're very familiar with Santa Ana. We've sold here. We've lived here. We love Santa Ana. So whether you're looking to make a move in the next 5 days, 50 days, or further out, and you're looking to make a move to Santa Ana, Irvine, or any of the surrounding communities, give us a call, choose text, send us an email. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to the area.